We've been incredibly fortunate to work with some of the fastest growing startups in the country. And for most of these startups, they start working with us only after they've learned some really hard lessons. So these lessons usually look like this. They've usually built the business up through a lot of their digital channels. They've gone through Series A, Series B, possibly even Series C funding. They've maxed out and they've exhausted their digital channels for lead gen, and they need to go to mass media to continue their growth trajectory. Once they've raised, and it could be $2 million, could be $5 million, a couple have just raised $20 million. After they've raised these funds, they look to mass media and traditional media to increase this growth. From there, they'll engage a creative agency. They might invest $200,000 up to $500,000 on an ad. Then they'll look to invest upwards of $2 to $3 million in media, usually over a 6-week campaign. The campaign goes live, everyone waits with bated breath. What's going to happen? This is going to change our business. Their metrics look like this. There's a blip with the activity, and then it resumes back to their normal baseline. We've seen this on dozens of different occasions. So the reason this strategy doesn't work is this is what's called branding. When you're a startup, you need to invest heavily in demand generation rather than brand. And over time, you can invest more and more into brand, but as a startup, it's vital that we look at demand generation first, and that's where bulk of the revenue needs to go. So when we look at demand generation, we measure media as a cost per response. So it's vital that when we're looking at stage of life of business, if you've only been going for a couple of years, it's vital that you invest most of your funds in demand generation activity versus branding. Demand generation is where we spend $100,000 and we know we're going to get at least $120,000 back, if not $200,000 or $300,000. So we need to test. We need to test different creative messages to see what's going to work. We need to test different mediums to see what's going to be work. Is it TV? Is it radio? What is actually going to work for your particular brand? And we need to test at low level volumes. Once we get our testing and we're learning, we know what's going to work, then we look to scale. That is the difference between demand generation and branding. Demand generation is we test on low levels, then we look to scale. Branding is where we go all in, all chips on black, and we cross our fingers and hope for the best.